Call the Crosby Township Board of Trustees regular meeting to order for March 13th, 2023. Could we please stand for the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Lohman?
Here.
Mr. Hyam? Here. Mr. Heiss?
Here.
Approval of the minutes for the regular meeting held February 13th, 2023. You say 22 on them.
Yeah, I'll fix those.
It's okay. Do I have a motion?
You found one mistake
What's that?
on the last page. On the last page, the salary range is 25,000 to 35,000 instead of 30,000. Doug and Dennis, I thought maybe I wrote down the wrong figure, but they agreed it was a 35,000. So I make a motion with the correction.
I guess the only thing that I would, and it's not a correction because it was presented correct, was there was a pre-bid meeting under legal for 310, and he changed it. We actually had a pre-bid meeting on the 9th. So it's not a mistake, but it was what actually
correction.
happened. So I'll second Chuck's motion.
Okay.
Roll call. Your microphone.
Mr. Lohman?
Yes.
Mr. Hyam?
Yes.
Mr. Heiss?
Yes.
Okay, approval of the minutes for the special meeting held February 23rd, 2023.
So move.
I second.
Roll call.
Mr. Lohman?
Yes.
Mr. Hyam?
Yes.
Mr. Heiss?
Yes.
And then we had a special meeting, which it's not on here, with Bob May, a pre-bid meeting for the new shelter on March 9th, last Thursday. Do I have an approval for the meeting, the minutes for that?
So move.
I second.
Roll call.
Mr. Lohman?
Yes.
Mr. Heiss? Or Mr. Hyam?
Yes.
Mr. Heiss?
Yes.
Okay, then before we get into the meeting, we want to give a special presentation tonight for Harry and Jean, who have combined 92 years of service to Crosby Township. A week ago, last Sunday, we had a special little banquet here for them. So if we could ask them to come up and... So we have a certificate of appreciation presented to Harry and Marjorie Myers for a lifetime of service to Crosby Township for a combined total of 92 years, March 2023. Congratulations and thank you. What's that? I'm going to hold that. It's hard to see without the background. That says Crosby Township, Hamilton County, Ohio presents Harry and Marjorie Myers, honoring 92 combined years of lifetime of service, of faithful service, 2023. Thank you again. Now you have to give a speech. That's all right. So Harry's been in maintenance and Jean's been in zoning, and it's a wonderful, something that never happens. So it's an honor for you to be here and to have been here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
An approval to pay the bills have been presented over the past month. I need a motion.
I second it.
Then roll call.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Okay. Then correspondence, I've got a few. State of Ohio report for February, unemployment dropped to 4%. Commercial activity receipts for the year to date are at 67.5 million, which is above estimate.
who's this correspondence from?
State of Ohio. February non-auto sales tax revenue is 7.3% above estimate. It's a Hamilton County Solid Waste meeting, March 15th at 3 p.m. 250 William Howard Taft Building.
What date was that again? You're going pretty fast.
Sorry, March 15th at 3 p.m. And the Ohio Township Association Virtual Education Calendar for March. You can register up to the day of a seminar, and I know they've got them through the end of the month. There was a Board of Health meeting today at 4. There's an OPERS retirement meeting April 12th in Blue Ash from 6 to 8:30 p.m. for people, especially if you're wanting to retire, so maybe a couple people here might go.
What day was that?
April 12th. There's a Hamilton County Advisory Board meeting tomorrow from 12 to 1, which I'm going to. That's at the 250 William Howard Taft Building. There's a West JAD meeting April 6th in Miami Town at the fire, right by the firehouse, which I'll go to. There's a new area code for our area, 283, because I guess 513 is filled up, or filling up. So you might start seeing that area code,
What was that new area code?
283. That'll take some getting used to. Then there's that Hamilton County Planning Mitigation meeting. I guess maybe Jason will talk about that when his time comes up. Have they been talking to you about that, or?
Got some dates, yeah.
All right, so we'll wait till you to finish that.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have. Dennis?
Got an email from the Hamilton County Engineer's Office and road projects that they had put the estimates out for. The estimates came in 20% over what they had figured it was going to be, so they were going to take the new figures and rebid it. So the project will come back to just be more expensive. And that's, huh?
Which roads?
That would be up at Fort Scott, the main road there, Fort Scott Boulevard, and then first side street, I forget the name of it right now. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Dennis. Chuck?
I don't have anything new. You cover almost everything.
Okay. All right, guest, traffic detail report, Lieutenant Stuckey.
All right, so for Crosby Township on February, it was a nice slow month, good for us. There was 81 calls for service, only 2 criminal reports, 3 non-criminal reports. So 2 of those cases were assigned to the detectives, and we had 6 auto crashes. One thing that is not attached to the report is Corporal Brian Peake's traffic report. He didn't have time to email it to me, so I'll get it to you next month. Or he usually emails you guys, so you'll get it from him directly then. That's all I have. I think.
Anything else for?
I would note that we did get that.
Did you get it from him?
I think we did
Okay.
get it a while back, like at the beginning of the month.
Was it for?
Ryan's report? Yeah,
Did you? Okay, well
Yeah.
then,
Yeah, that-
I
okay.
think
Yeah.
we got it a while ago.
yeah, it was way early. I
Actually,
thought.
early. Thank you. All right, Kathy Dieters, just go up to the podium and tell us who you are and.
Good evening. My name's Kathy Dieters. I represent Energy Alliances. We are the broker and consultants that manage your electric aggregation program. The program rate is currently in effect until June of 2023. And we have begun the process of soliciting bids through multiple suppliers. The decision has to be made at some point before May 1st, if that's doable, in order for the letters to go back out to the residents. Unfortunately, the market is up. It's a commodity, so it trades every day. The good news is Duke Energy, if that's even good news, their price to compare is going up in May. They've already been out to auction and bid for their new electric rates that will take effect in May, and they will go anywhere between 9.5 cents and 10.5 cents for residents. Your rate currently is 4.79 cents. It was shopped at a time when the market was very low. There's a lot of variables that go into the market and determine what the price will be. We combine all the residents that are currently in the program and small businesses to determine a price for the township. And this evening, we are just asking for authorization since the market does trade every day, and so a decision kind of has to be made on the spot if the market is in a good position and we feel that it's a recommendation for you to lock in, then we'll present the rate to the township trustees and they'll make a decision to approve it. And then it'll be locked in and start when this current rate ends. Right now, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of the high 6.7 to 6.9 cents. We do have a little time, but all the variables with the market indicate that right now we're in a pretty good buying signal. We haven't had these rates for the last 8 to 10 months as far as where the market is trading. Ideally, you get shoulder months in March and April, so it can sometimes offer you the best price when you're shopping. So we just encourage you to, make the decision so the letters can go out to the residents. The alternative with Duke is not the greatest. Unfortunately, the rates are going up. So that's kind of it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Is that good for 1 year? Is that a 1 year thing?
This is 24 months.
And what did you say the rates were now? 4.5 or what were they?
4.79 cents. And that expires in June.
So then whatever rate we lock in, that'll be that rate for 2 years.
Correct.
I would note, Brett, there was a lot of email back and forth just this afternoon leading up to the meeting, and if the trustees so choose, I've drafted a resolution, which is Resolution 092023, which would authorize the president of the Board of Trustees to execute a contract. The language said Energy Harbor, is that correct?
Well, that is the current supplier that is the lowest bidder, but that could change between now and the time you make the decision. We put it out to several suppliers. AEP Energy, Dynegy is your current supplier, but Energy Harbor has come back with the lowest rate.
Would it be better if I adjusted the language on the resolution to say execute a contract and just say for energy aggregation, and then at the price not to exceed 7.2 cents and not to exceed 24 months? Would that be better?
That's fine. That would be fine.
So I can make that adjustment and provide the trustees with that resolution if the trustees want. I could probably do that within 45 seconds.
Yeah, that was your suggestion, Kathy, in the email. So
Yes.
the resolution's going to be drafted in accordance with what you suggested for the
Okay.
language that gives the trustees a bit of time to make the final decision and then sign the contract. And it has to be done by May 1st.
Correct. In order for the letter, there's a 28 or like a 21-day window when the PUCO requires letters to go out to all the residents that can opt into or it's like an opt-out actually. Those letters go out and then they have to respond by, I think it's like the 15th of May, maybe it's the 21st of May, in order to be able to target those June meter reads for all the customers. So there is a specific time. So ideally the decision we would like to have it at the end of April, beginning of May 1st at the latest.
And you want the contract signed by that date? Or do you want the decision on the?
Well, if you guys, if we wait on pricing or whatever, a decision would have to be made by May 1st. Now, of course, there's always those chances that the market could fluctuate and change. We just recommend right now, we've signed 10 communities in the last 2 weeks because the market has been ideal compared to where it was.
And keep in mind, what this resolution does is simply authorize the president of the Board of Trustees to be able to communicate with Kathy and make that agreement. It's
Good.
not-
To
it's not signing up
basically
tonight.
execute day of, because that's how pricing works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way, if you come up with a deal, you can just get a hold of Doug and execute it.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that
Yeah, that makes sense.
sounds fine to me. If you want to,
Can we pause for about 1 minute?
yeah.
Can you sing?
Kathy, how many years we've been going this?
Me personally?
No, I'm in Crosby Township.
Oh, you are going into your third contract. So the first two were 3 years, so 6 years.
Yeah, because I remember when I was trustee, we did this. So
Yes,
I know we did it. So there's the third time coming up.
correct.
Okay. You guys been in business since 1985?
Yes, we have. We've really started the community aggregation about 20 years ago, but we've been in business serving a lot of commercial. Our mainstay was on the natural gas side. So electric, basically, the market indicated lower rates were lower than what you could purchase through the utility. And we started doing electric agreements in 2008.
So you're only doing electric for Crosby Township?
Yet we can do gas, but I think you guys are more on the rural side and don't have a lot of the residents don't have natural gas. If I'm mistaken, let me know.
Oh, we have it. It runs through New Haven.
Well, I think Fort Scott probably does
Yeah.
because they're a newer
Thinking Fort
community.
Scott probably does.
And we'd be happy to look into that for sure, for the residents that, if you feel like it's beneficial. I mean, certainly our communities that we do gas for, we save them quite a bit of money.
Well, maybe look look into it if we're doing electric too.
Sure,
Come back with that.
absolutely.
So I've got a resolution 092023. It reads, motion to adopt resolution 092023 to authorize the president of the Board of Trustees to execute a contract for energy aggregation at a price not to exceed 7.2 cents per kilowatt and for a term not to exceed 24 months. Pass that down and
I make a motion that we adopt Resolution 09-2023.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Lohman,
Yes.
Mr. Hyam,
Yes.
Mr. Heiss.
Yes.
Yeah, sign it.
Yeah. We'll sign it, we'll send it back.
Does anybody have any more questions?
Do you need a copy of the resolution?
No, I'm good. I'll be in touch. Thank you very much for your
Yeah.
time.
Thank you.
Any other public at large? Okay, legal, Alan?
Okay, with regard to the transfer of property to the Historical Society, as you know, we been dealing with a statute that apparently might be changed sometime in the future. That would make it a little easier, but it hasn't changed yet. So we had looked at perhaps getting some sort of an appraisal that the trustees could rely on in order to make a determination that the value of the property is below a certain level required by the statute. That's a little more difficult than we thought after Dennis and I had separate conversations. So I'm going back to the I think the original kind of simple plan. I'm not saying we should do it. I'm looking into it, and I've asked for a little advice on it from another attorney I know that does this type of thing. But it's basically, if it's permissible and it doesn't run afoul of the statute, we simply transfer the property back to the current owner, the owners, the Weisbros, and then they would, at the same time, sign a deed to the Historical Society, and we could record one deed right after the other. So hopefully I'll get a little more insight in that, and if that's acceptable, that would be the easiest way. Hopefully that'll be the way to take care of it. So as soon as I hear something,
I see in the book, House Bill 501, they said legislation take effect April the 6th, 2023.
well, then that solves the problem.
That's what I'm thinking.
You're saying that the statute that you gave me a little blurb
Yeah.
that says it was,
Did you get this? I don't remember if you get
No.
this. No.
but you're saying this was actually passed.
Yes. I get.
And the
Since
problem
you-
solved.
Yeah, since you mentioned that, I went back and looked and see what that first page.
Excellent.
So you
Yeah.
were talking about it. I went to the bathroom. I came back and I looked, and it was already passed. So
Terrific.
I didn't know you got a copy or not.
Case closed. No, I don't get a copy of this.
Oh, okay. You can have my copy. Oh, you want copy? You need a copy of that first page.
Well, you gave me a copy of this.
Yeah, you need a copy of the first page.
We'll take care of it,
Yeah.
okay? So that case that's solved now,
Okay.
so, which is a good idea. Because I think we were reading
Right here's what he
page.
copied.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was reading that the other
didn't
day.
sound
and I-
like it was passed.
Yeah, I read it the other day, but I couldn't remember.
Okay,
So now.
thank you, Chuck.
You're welcome.
That settles that.
I'll send you my bill.
Please do.
You're welcome.
I'll pass it back on to the township.
I take off.
The only other thing I have is just a reminder, I'm sure this is going to come up later because I'm going to leave the meeting here shortly. But with regard to the project for the shelter, I'm sure an announcement's going to be made. There's already been a pre-bid meeting, and bids are due on the 24th of May, and they're opened. The meeting's at 3 o'clock is when the bids are opened, and the following Monday, according to the timeline established, Monday, the 27th of March, would be the award of the contract pursuant to a special meeting. Now, those dates may change. I haven't spoken to Bob May in a while, but that's the way I understand that's going to run.
I may have heard you wrong. I thought you said that the 24th of May.
I meant March.
Okay,
This is all March dates.
that's
Bids
that's
due-
what I thought.
Yeah, March 24th, bids open March 24th. Contract awarded Monday, March 27th, at a special meeting of the Township Trustees, and approval of the contract at the next regular meeting on April 10th. And unless Bob May has, because I know we moved that one date up, but I think everything else is the
think
same.
everything
And I
else
think
is
it's in the
same.
notice that's sent out.
Right, so we
that's
don't need
already.
to advertise it
Yeah.
because it's already been
Right.
advertised in the notice.
Okay. So that's all I have.
I don't have anything.
You want me to get a copy of this before you leave?
Sure, Chuck, yeah.
All right, thanks, Alan.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night. Maintenance Department, Harry.
I don't have a lot. We got the walking trail, the step fixed, filled that in, and we got the signs up,
Okay,
and, let's see, what else? End of the bridge, the walking path. What about the dogs on the leash? They did that.
Chair trailer done,
The what?
chair trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, we built a trailer also for the chairs. When Brenda has her concerts and that, we built a trailer and got all the chairs on 'em. That way you can just hook onto them, take them down there and use them and bring them back.
you don't have
Just
to
leave 'em
stack
on.
and unstack them.
Go, Harry. Good idea.
Sounds like a
get that.
plan.
That'll be good.
About the only thing I have is the joints around this building. You never did get
No.
around the ceiling. Probably the next time it warms up halfway decent,
Yeah,
you can get that done.
Yeah.
Then we don't have to worry about it.
if it stops raining one of these days.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be up and down this
Yeah.
week. It's the way it sounds. It's not gonna be cold long and hot long. It's up and down, so. Other than that, I don't have anything.
One thing I did is got the parking lot fixed out here again. It was flashing again.
Yeah,
I
the
called them
light?
to come out and change that, fix that now. So I hope.
Was it
That's the third time.
is that the light bulb or what is it?
Well, that's what he said.
Oh, he came out and did it.
He put a different bulb and everything in it. And,
When they first come on, they flash. Like one evening, I was hearing like at least 3 of them were flashing right when they came on.
yeah.
and then they warmed up and
Yeah,
stayed
but
on.
LED shouldn't have
That's
to
an
warm up.
LED, though. That
Think
shouldn't
so,
do
yeah.
that. Shouldn't,
Yeah.
so.
Did you have anything for Harry?
No.
Okay. All right, thanks, Harry. Fire Chief Davis.
February run totals, we had 30 EMS details, 23 fire details, for a total of 62 in February. 4 members of our engine committee traveled up to Pierce Manufacturing Factory in Appleton, Wisconsin, to finalize the final specs for the engine before they put it into production. That should be starting at the end of March, early April, and they're still giving us a time frame of completion at the end of August, early September, so fall this year. The Hamilton County Auction Surplus Manager will be meeting with me this week to take photos and logging equipment down at Station 27. That's the first step they need to do before they put things onto the website. Representative with Pepper Construction will be meeting with me at the end of this month to talk about options and see what can be done at Station 28 for adding onto the building, or give his advice on what steps should be taken, just as a second opinion.
On that, I'll open up a can of worms here. I think we ought to look at several possibilities on what to do with rehabbing the fire department. Should we stick a couple $100,000 in the existing building, or should we relocate the entire apparatus so it's more centrally located in the township for the future, and possibly get a bond to generate enough money for us to borrow the money to build a new facility so that it serves the township long-term. He also mentioned, Jason mentioned, that Denier's building will be empty when they moved into their thing, but I don't see that as a real good fit. It's off the beaten path, and
I was just
that's a
told
pole barn
they'll
kind
be
of
using that
thing.
building also.
Huh?
I was just told they'll be using that building also.
Oh, will they?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's out of the picture anyway.
Do you know if Harrison is building a station on Edgewood?
That's the rumor.
I can
can't
talk to
confirm.
somebody. And
I can't
have you
confirm
talked to
that.
anybody or not?
Not about that particular.
I'll talk to some,
Subject.
I know a couple council people. I'll ask them, because that would make a difference too, because that's pretty close.
We need to think all aspects, because
Yeah.
I'd hate to stick $200,000 in that building, and then in 10 years you wish you were someplace else.
Sure. Yeah, by just having somebody else come in and say what could and.
No, that's
options,
fine.
yeah.
I don't mind that,
Yep.
because he might shed some light on something that would be pretty interesting.
Sure.
But after you get those figures, we probably ought to look and see what a new structure would cost us, and how we would go about financing it. There's other,
Finding property too.
yeah, well, I have an idea where that property would be, but,
Where you
Other-
gonna
other-
where you gonna go?
other townships have done bond levies, and that entails going before your electorate, and they would have to pass an issue that would allow us to borrow money to do that. We can't borrow money on our own, so we would have to get a bond. And so we need to start looking, because this is going to, if we go this route, it's going to take us a couple of years.
Sure.
And we need to start, I think we need to start addressing the issue now instead of kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, I said that a while back too, so.
Yeah,
Just
so,
as an option.
so that's pretty much all I have to say on it. So
So you're looking for like 1 acre, a half acre? How much?
you'd probably be looking at 2 to 3
or
acres,
3
because they
acres.
got to have enough room for septic
Training and stuff?
and water catch basin. So
And training, I guess.
it would be more than an acre.
Yeah.
So. So
Okay.
I would
After-
start thinking about it.
After I talk to him, I'll keep you guys, I'll give you an email with I'll add you carbon copy. So whatever he says, you'll get a copy of it also, so that we're on the same page.
You know what would be nice too is during Crosby cleanup days, if we put a dumpster down there, one of the dumpsters, and clean out what you're not going to auction.
That will be a big thing. He's here Thursday. He'll be here Thursday. We'll go down there. He'll tell me what can be auctioned, what won't be auctioned.
Okay, because that way Harry, if we need an extra dumpster, or we can take one of the dumpsters he already has and go down there and get that cleaned up, that would be good timing, I think.
Yep.
All right, make a note of that, Harry.
Okay.
I'll remind you.
You think 1 be enough? They pretty much stuff down there.
There's some stuff there that does not
There's a
belong
lot
to
of
us.
stuff
It belongs to the Historical Society. Some stuff belongs to the Miller family.
Yeah, I thought we moved stuff out. The Historical Society, I think, move everything out. I might be mistaken, but is there still stuff there? Oh, because I thought we moved everything.
I don't know. But I think by the time you start breaking some of that stuff down, a dumpster's gonna hold a lot of that stuff.
I think so too. Roll
So,
off. Yeah.
and if it doesn't, we'll deal with it, what's left later.
Yep.
All right.
I think if I may, from a financial feasibility perspective, without going into numbers that I haven't crunched yet, in general, if you do a significant renovation or addition to the current location of the firehouse, you have to be realistic about the likely need in the future of a second firehouse on the other side of the township, just because of where it's situated. The distance of a run from the current firehouse to Fort Scott in that area is growing, and they're going to put another 100 houses
Oh, yeah.
right over there, is significant.
We've talked about that also trying to find a property for a second firehouse
So
to the time frame.
from a financial perspective, at first glance, it makes a lot of sense to move away from the idea of renovating the current firehouse and put a firehouse right in the middle of the township that can serve all of the ends of the different township and not have to support two structures and two separate companies of firefighters. We have to look at it from a long-term perspective, and I think it just makes a lot of sense. It's just a matter of
Makes financial sense.
yeah,
With two,
How-
you
it
need
just-
two of everything.
yeah, and even like the fire, it's another fire truck, and
Everything.
the people.
That's the main thing, is you'd have to have so much personnel.
It's just
And that's hard to come by.
Yeah, you start improving that, and you got probably new codes you probably get involved with. It's like probably bring everything up to new codes. It probably costs more than what you're thinking.
Yeah,
The old
because
one, you don't have to do that.
right,
You
because the
renovate
septic
it.
system
I'm
would have to be
talking about
brought
the
up
old
to date.
one. So
You run
Before-
into a can of worms.
Before the meeting, I just looked to see what kind of news articles have been written, and I did find a couple in the last couple months of local fire departments going through building projects. One in Middletown, one in Liberty Township. In the amounts that they're talking about their firehouses costing vary widely based upon how large they are, how many bays, how many firefighters they're supporting. But a very rough estimate seems to be, for us, probably 4 or 5 million is probably what it's looking like, maybe even a little more as inflation keeps going through the roof. But
Something we have to look at.
yeah, recently, City of Harrison was thinking about building a new firehouse over this way.
That's what I said on Edgewood.
Edward is it Edward? Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna try to find out.
that was
'Cause supposedly some land was set aside when
a couple years ago or something.
that whole they're putting a whole
Well, I know.
400 houses there or something, which is actually Crosby Township.
Yeah. And
City of Harrison.
Yeah.
And the last thing I have is, you mentioned it earlier about the Hamilton County,
Emergency management.
countywide mitigation planning. We met here, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago with Trustee Dole. We sit down, talk about a half hour in the conference room. There's been emails going back and forth with dates. I'm waiting to hear back from them, from the dates that we had available for the conference room. Just talking about plans for severe weather, the chemical plants, the traffic on 128 with the high hazard going up and down 128, and then the floodplain. So they want to meet sometime this month. I think that's probably going to happen if they can make it. And
You wanna-
you'll have to be
You
there.
want to go for a date? Because I was writing down the dates off of your email. That was,
Waiting to hear from them.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear.
Oh, are ya?
Yes. We gave them 3 dates where we had available to use the conference room. I've heard nothing back from them yet.
oh, haven't you?
As soon as I
I'm
do-
pretty much open on any of those dates
Okay,
because we ought to have at least one township trustee there.
correct.
So, okay.
Okay. That's all I have.
Anything else?
You-
Thank you. Community calendar, Brenda.
Well, I have a lot of different things to tell you. I have a potpourri of multiple topics. I'm going to start out with the senior club news. We had our March senior meeting on the 7th when I was sick, but I heard from several members that our guest speaker was so impressive. I was starting to get emails from them and everything, and I really hated that I missed it, but I wanted to share it to the community because he seems like he's someone who would be a valuable speaker in a lot of areas. But his name is Ron Vance. He's an artist wood carver. He has created Bible sticks that tell stories from the Bible. His presentation was one of the choices that we had from our grant program with the Creative Aging in Cincinnati group. But it was they were all just totally wowed by it. So if anyone's interested, you can get in touch with me, and I'll be glad to connect you. We are planning a great night on March 17th, this coming Friday, St. Patrick's Day. We're going to go have our Dinner with Friends night out at the American Legion Post 199 Fish Fry on Campbell Road at 5 p.m. And I'm taking reservations for a trip to the Crone Conservatory to see spring flowers and butterflies. We always enjoy all those flowers for spring, no doubt. The date is Tuesday, March 28th, and the admission fee is $10 to be paid and reserved in advance. So if you're interested, you can get in touch with me, and I'll be glad to work that out. The rest of my report is a lot of different things. I'm going to start out with just the fact that I was in conversation with Becky Reynolds, she called, from the Western Southern Life Insurance Company about a presentation they would like to come out and offer to any group, actually, but they specifically seem to speak a lot to independent retirement communities and community centers about the topic of preventing identity theft. Becky herself is a financial advisor and registered representative of the company, and I thought maybe what I would do is invite her to come out to one of our senior meetings, and after the meeting then she could be our guest speaker for the day, and then see how what it's like, and see if it would be appropriate or good for the whole community, and just set another date, put it on our marquee, and invite the community to, we'll repeat it if it works well. So
I'm wondering if you could use your phone.
I can, but it isn't hooked up for the community. It's just for seniors and our staff.
Oh, well, I was thinking that you would put it out there and see what kind of response you got and fill the building.
I guess I'm confused. Help me out.
You're wanting to do it for your senior citizens. I'm saying do it for the whole community.
Right. And my point is that if I do it for them first, my point was I'll see what it looks like. If it seems like our community would like it, I'm just going to set another date and then throw it out to everyone. I just thought if it's, if it tends to be more about only senior citizens, I don't know a lot about it yet. I thought I'd kind of feel it out, look at it, and then what you're saying, put it out there for everybody.
Okay.
Just have it twice, type thing. But I hear you. That's what I think is a good idea. Then I wanted to tell you that, as Harry kind of mentioned, we were able to purchase the folding chairs that there's 40 new ones that I got with the grant from Butler Rural Community Connections program. And then I had in my report just a copy of the check because I was excited. We did receive our $600 reimbursement for the purchase, and so we're all good to go. And Harry and the fellas have a wonderful way now. I think you're using that little, what's it called, the gator?
Yeah.
It will be able to pull it around. They could even take it up to Memorial Day parade for us, just however they want to do it. So I thought that was really cool how that all worked out, that it didn't cost us anything, and we also have a cart now to transport it. So thank you, Harry. That's cool. Just to let you know, I did submit another grant application last month, in the amount of $800 to hopefully secure and renew the membership we have with Creative Aging in Cincinnati program, because they offer a lot of entertainment for all of us, and that will take care of the year 2023. They're going to be looking at that those applications on this Wednesday, March 15th, and then they'll post it on their website, those that receive awards. So I hope we get that, and we can continue as we think about a shelter out on our green space, so we can keep feeding programming out that way. So that'll be awesome. Wanted to let you know I want to begin working on a township newsletter myself as soon as possible, as I can get my feet going again here. And I would entertain any ideas that you as trustees have, any articles that you might want to include in it, whatever it is, just, put the facts together, and then I will be glad to work on that. And then I'll, like I usually do, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I will get a draft of it to you, so you can, kind of see how it's going and add to or subtract or whatever. We can work together on it, but I wanted to work on that. I did speak with Brian Dye, who's the ICRC Government Access Coordinator, just this past week, about the capabilities that we currently have here to produce any programming beyond the trustee meetings. And he explained that at no additional fee, because we have a standard fee that we pay, and it's up to us to access and use it as we see fit. But he said very soon we can do live streaming from events in real time. That could be a trustee meeting. That could be anything going on in the building here. That could be, taken care of. He said he could also bring in filming crews to video special events, either in the building or at remote locations. For example, if we wanted to broadcast or record something from out under the shelter, they can do that. They could go, as I understand it, because of the trucks that have all of the satellite equipment, whatever, then they would be able to go, if we wanted to do Memorial Day, a cemetery service. There's just a lot of things, the parade. We can tap into some things. He said, just call me anytime and he'll set it up. I said, it's a deal, we'll do it. So that's cool. So we'll look into that. If you have any ideas and thoughts about that, you're welcome to share that too. Another topic, at the last trustee meeting, I volunteered to see if I could find out anything for you all about the baseball field, those bases, and there was some discussion about how far do those kids hit the ball. So I had talked to two different people that kind of weighed in on it. One was a trustee who was involved in the ball field setup originally. And these are things I didn't even really know, but he said that the base length was measured out, and it's appropriate for younger youth. It doesn't work for older kids. It's in the wrong, I guess, feet or whatever. It's all set up for younger kids to. And the other thing that I got from it, besides that, was Coach Keith Reuter, who has been coaching here for a while. I sent him an email, and I wanted to just share real fast. This was his response that I thought was helpful. He said, Brenda, the teams I coach don't make it to the tree line, usually 20 feet short from my 13U team, and my 10U team is only 25 feet into the grass. One thing to consider, or at least keep in mind, most hitters are right-handed and typically pull the ball to left field. Most right-handed kids don't have the power to hit the ball that far to right field. However, on the flip side, if there would happen to be a big left-handed hitter, it could pull to the right. So he said basically that, by their age, they wouldn't be to the tree line. So I thought that might be helpful to hear from both of them. Wanted to let you know, I've been in communication with Gage Bradford, who oversees the Hamilton County Recycling Program. And since we eliminated the recycling bins in the township a while back, the only participation now is just the residents. The rules and regulations, which must be supported with documentation, has increased greatly to be part of the recycling program as a township. After looking into it, I believe that it's a program that it doesn't really match our current participation level anymore as a township, and the residents nothing's going to change. They just simply could continue their working relationship with the recycling program without our involvement. So I just wanted to put that out there to let you know that's kind of, I think Gage Bradford is a newer person, Michelle, I should say Melissa. Michelle Bowles was the person that used to do the program, and it's just tightened and changed up in different ways that really don't suit us as a township to continue doing too much with it. But I wanted to let you know that nothing's changing with residents, but that's where that's at. I wanted to also tell you that the Cold War Patriots have reserved the community center to hold another informal, they call it informational open house on April 18th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Boy Scouts are going to hold their annual spaghetti dinner here. It's a fundraiser on April 22nd. These are all things coming up next month. And the reminder continues to be that Crosby Cleanup Day is May 6th and 7th. Strickers Grove is Sunday, May 21st, and our Memorial Day Parade and service is May 28th. Oh, do I say that? Yeah, because last year the trustees were. Oh, I haven't heard anything specifically, as why I never thought of it. But Brian has just reminded me that the Butler Rural Annual Dinner is April 27th, and that trustees went, last year, so I can check on that. Once I maybe after Wednesday, and they do the grant thing, I'll be able to connect with Andy Denny again and find out if you guys would like to go, or if she's going to do something.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
So on that recycling, I guess we're in agreement to just stay out of it because of it being so complicated now.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
All right, anything else for Brenda?
Nope, she's a busy person.
All right, Matt?
Thank.
Yes.
You have a big space by your name on the agenda.
Planning, you learn from experience. It won't be too difficult this time around, I don't think. First of all, the workers' compensation auditor, the guy who was gonna look over our workers' comp contributions that I mentioned at the last meeting, that auditor was here today. Spoke in person with Brian. I just missed him, and apparently we will be receiving a $500 credit from overpayment, so we're kind of on the right side of that. So that was good. An update on that fraudulent check issue, that old business that never goes away. I took a little trip out west, and then Mr. Trends at a different set of time was out of town. It wasn't the best month for he and I to be coordinating, but I talked with Fifth Third Commercial Support using an identification number that they gave us when we first called them. I got a very frustrating runaround from them. I was told things like, we should have received some sort of information packet that we would have turned back in. I didn't remember any such thing. It's been a while back. I talked with Brian. He didn't remember us doing anything like that or getting anything like that. I scoured my email. I was never sent anything like that. I don't recall getting anything in the mail like that. I told her that we didn't get anything like that. And so then she forwarded me to a section of Fifth Third customer service or commercial that deals specifically with account holders that are local government agencies. So that seemed reasonable. So there must be only one person that works in there, because I got a voicemail. I left a voicemail, asked them to call my cell phone number. I haven't heard back from them yet at this point. So probably very shortly, I'll probably be going the route of sicking Mr. Trends on them and seeing if he can get a better result coming from an attorney, because it's really bizarre. I mean, they're talking about a procedure when Brian and I probably were on the phone with them for over a half an hour when we first made this call, and we never got anything like this. And then they're talking about procedures that we've never even heard of. So I find that frustrating. Brian, we got an email, and Brian suggested I mention. I thought it was a good idea. There's a TIF application kickoff tomorrow at 11 a.m. That type of thing doesn't typically apply to us, but I want to let you know in case any of you think otherwise. Just with the level of commercial activity that we have in our township, it's never been something that's has my attention. We have a few checks for signature. If you didn't see them yet, I can make sure you see those before you leave tonight. We've got, we received a mileage certification, and I missed getting it to you last month, but we have to do this every year. This gets signed and sent back to the county engineer. It's important for things, especially related to distribution of taxes related to road and gas tax and road tax related issues. I'm going to pass this around to you guys, this paper clipped copy. You can sign unless you have any objection to it. It certifies that last year Crosby Township was certified as having 5.711 miles of roads responsible for. There was an addition, and that's what the back page is. There was an addition of 0.199 miles on Brigade Court. That makes a total of 5.910 miles of public roads. And when you sign, I'll send this into the engineer, and then I'll scan it and put it, into the same folder where the one from last year was in our computer, so it's readily available if we need it. One thing that also we use this for is when there's a budget report that goes to the, I think it's the one in the middle of the year in the summer that goes to the auditor. This is part of that as well because it affects revenues. So here's that. Then we mentioned at the last meeting that we were just communicating with Spectrum because they actually wanted to talk about possible service here. And they did come with a quote, and that quote, we just got it like this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to really look at it in a lot of detail. I would like, especially now that we have this, I would like to give one more shot at Alta Fiber to see if we can get a proposal or quote from them as well. It's before I come to the trustees with a suggestion or a set of numbers on what it would cost to run an overall phone system, which we just simply don't have right now.
Right.
I can't even tell you. There's some things on the email, on the correspondence from this person that are even a little bit confusing to me. I'm sure it's not confusing to them, but it's hard talking about numbers when you don't know exactly what they're talking about. And this was kind of last second. So if the trustees are okay with it, I'd like to bring this back at the next meeting. Brian, do you see any issue with that? Bringing that back at the next meeting? So, I think that's all I wanted to mention for now for this meeting. Brian, did you have anything pressing that I missed?
Hey, on the, I mean, buddy, but on the roads, we got more miles than that.
It's been.
I'd have to look. I got it over my shop.
Since I've been, well, as far as the engineer's concerned, that's what they have us down for. And it may be that you guys maybe plow something that technically maybe you don't need to. I mean, if there's roads we should be getting credit for, that's definitely something that we would want to know. But I can tell you that, since I've been here, it's been consistently around like the 5 mile range. I mean, it's the way it's always been.
I got a copy, I'll get it out, I'll find it tomorrow.
Okay.
I thought it was 7.9. I mean, I could be wrong. I know it's more than 5. 5, we've had that for years. And then with Fort Scott opening up more streets, we're getting more roads, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't
I'll look it up
five.
tomorrow.
We'll have to measure it ourselves.
I mean,
guess.
it may be, keep in mind that, you know, just because a road is in Fort Scott doesn't mean that it's been accepted necessarily by the township for maintenance.
I think
They all been
most of them have.
I mean,
They've
at this
all
point,
been-
maybe they all are, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you know, pavement goes down. If I'm you, in, you know, in my mind, that's my road. I got to, you know, I got to take care of my road. So, I don't know.
You'll
Yeah, I
look
mean,
into it.
if there's nothing wrong with, if it doesn't mean we're not taking care of more roads than we already do, there's nothing wrong with being on the county records as having more roads.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I remember that before the township accept the road, we go, the trustee and
Walk 'em.
walk, and then if we see an issue, we get the contractor to fix it before we accept it.
I
And
think
then,
Dennis and them walked the last one back there,
Yeah, we,
in the back part there.
it was you and I and
Yeah, you accepted them.
Jim Newhouse problem.
House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I know I did it one time with,
Yeah.
so,
I've done it twice at least.
but you got to get a list of the road from the engineer office and see. Because
I'll look
I,
tomorrow. I could be wrong.
Well, you could bring it to the next meeting or whatever.
well, I know one time before the road was delegated that the contractor pay us to do the snow remover.
Yeah.
And you use the building for it. So,
Anything else, Matt?
No, sir.
Anything for Matt? All right, zoning. Rick is not here tonight. He did drop a thing off that he had 3 permits issued during February. And Diane Carter's here tonight, who I'd like to introduce, who's taken over Jean's job. So I hear that she has a wonderful singing voice, so she's gonna now sing a song for everybody.
Yes, there are 3 zoning permits during the month of February 2023.
All right, well, thank you and welcome. Okay, old business. Do you want to bring up about the maintenance thing?
Yeah.
All right, so then I don't have anything. Dennis?
Okay, passed around applications for the maintenance supervisor for Crosby Township. I gave everybody one except for Matt. I guess I didn't get one for Matt. I have to get you one, Matt. I'd like to take and get this started because Harry's supposed to be retired and he's still actively on the job, so I would like to, if everybody's good with this wording, that we put it in Harrison Press or somewhere to start the process of finding a person to take over his position.
Yeah.
So this isn't. So what it is? It's the actual application that one would fill out.
Look at it. No, it's
This is just a news release.
So it's like a posting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
okay.
could go to our website then
I
to
was
see the job
confused, okay.
description. 'Cause
Yeah,
you want
okay.
as less words as possible because you pay by the word. So,
Well, I just put on there basically the important stuff.
yeah.
If there's anybody that wants to, the only thing I didn't put on there was a deadline. And we can add that. I think we ought to have, by the middle of May, we ought to have anybody that's going to put an application in, that'll give them 2 months.
Should that be on that or should it be on the website?
Well, it'll be on both, but I would put another line on the ad going in that the applications would be due by May the 15th.
I put a long time, so.
Well, I was looking in the Cincinnati Enquirer, and
Yeah, I was
Springfield
looking.
Township, or one of them, has been running the same ad for 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't remember to look to see if they had a deadline.
Also, keep
Yes.
in mind, you tell them you want it posted, and it's not like you get it tomorrow.
Right.
And if you just miss it, a deadline, it could be almost 2 weeks.
So,
I got a Sunday, February 19th, and I got one here deadline the 19th of February, deadline the 28th, which is like
February.
only 10 days.
oh yeah.
So I'm thinking 30 days or something.
I have a thought, Dennis, this, with Mark Emerald being here from the Press and the Register, maybe you could tell us what's typical.
I don't handle the legal ads, so I don't know what's typical, but I know our deadlines, like at 9 o'clock for the next issue would be 9 o'clock on Friday. So every Friday at 9 o'clock for the next issue. So if you would get that in, say tomorrow, it would be in the 23rd or 23rd issue.
Yeah.
I just wondered, what do in a situation like this, is there a typical, number of weeks they run it, which is like the norm or the average?
Probably would vary because,
Okay. All right.
I mean, some situations
wondered.
a person may quit and they need to get somebody quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could do May 1st maybe, just compromise.
I just put May 15th to get feedback.
It worked.
I'm open to, I mean, it's,
First, May 1st.
you want to make it May 1st, or that's fine by me.
That's just a little over 30 days. If
Yeah,
it's-
by the time it gets in the paper and then it's got 30 days.
Yeah,
I
I
would,
think I-
if we could put it on our marquees out there, an abbreviated supervisor, maintenance supervisor position open, contact the office.
How many weeks do you want it to run?
I would run it 2 weeks. Otherwise, if somebody
Yeah.
misses it the first week, I would run it 2 weeks.
Yeah, putting the signs would be good too.
And then I would put,
You don't want to run it until your deadline?
No, this week, we'll put it in before this Friday.
so it's in by the 23rd.
I'm just saying if the perfect candidate doesn't realize they need a new job until
Yeah, but that
the
could be
middle
any-
of April, and
That
you're
could be any time or anybody. I mean, you know.
Yeah, if we're gonna get
Well,
this,
I guess one thing I'm wondering is what's the point in a May 1st deadline if your notice is only going to run through like the
April.
first week of April?
Could you run it 1 week, skip a week, and run another week maybe?
Would you be open to, put it open until filled? And that way you don't have a deadline, if you don't have anybody responding, we could always run it.
By May 1st.
We could always have somebody, if
Or if somebody
the
good
perfect guy
right
walks
away.
in next, the 24th,
Well, I guess we could do that.
a lot of times.
I'm out of my league here. I don't
But I'm-
run ads for.
But I'm just saying, if you do it that way,
Well, it's
Open
good to
it.
have, might be good to have a deadline because if the perfect person came in, I mean, it's good to have people to compare. If you have more, it's good to have more than one application to compare people to.
but I'm just saying, say nobody applies and your May 1st deadline expires, and somebody looks at the website and, we, either that or you decide to run an ad again.
Maybe you don't put it on the website, just put it in the ad that the May 1st, and then the website would be more open. With the job, it'd be more the job description.
I would put all of this, the job description and the ad on the website. So that if somebody's just perusing the website, it's all there. And then run the ad in the paper. So that's what I was gonna suggest.
I think if you leave it open until filled, people see the ad and then they're gonna see it anymore. They're gonna think it filled. So I think a deadline almost in the past you used to see pages and pages in the newspaper. You guys see anything hard though, everything on the computer.
You
So
see deadlines, you mean, or you don't?
I do see deadlines and some of them don't, but
I don't care. I'm just saying, you know,
I mean, you
see
can
I
put
see
May
a lot
first,
of
and then
ads
if
now.
we already hire somebody before that, you could just say what's already been filled.
All right, I just figured if you got a deadline that
I think a
people will
deadline
move on it
better.
instead of just sitting there sleeping on it. So,
It all depends how many people you get to respond to.
I know,
That's,
we might not get
that's
anybody.
That's your call.
So,
If you're gonna get anybody with the housing paper, then you could do the Inquirer. But the Inquirer was gonna cost you a lot more.
I would do I'd try to get somebody local first.
Yeah, I would too.
And then if we don't get any bites, well, then you widen your net.
Yes.
So,
And the other thing I have is send a resume to in the mail to one of us, like Doug, but also email or fax the resume. You see what I'm saying? So years ago, you used to mail everything. Now people emailing resume and they're faxing
Should
a
have
resume.
a, email and a phone number, or a do we have a fax here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you could have a fax and an email.
all right, well,
I can think you know.
Text a picture to Dennis of your.
I'll turn it over to our crack staff over there and they can doctor it up.
I just need to know what you all agree on. I'll be glad to write.
Well, it's pretty much all we need to put there is a fax number or an email
Okay.
And a deadline.
and the deadline, and that's it.
You could email it to Brenda, or email it to one of us.
It would have to go,
They could go
they
to
would have
Brandon.
to email it to the office over here.
She could just
Crosby
forward it to
Township.
us.
Yeah,
And the other thing is job
she would
description.
compile it.
I saw a couple of things we overlooked. Snow.
What did you see, the
No
older,
problem.
the original one, or do you, that's one?
No, this is one.
That's one Dennis did,
Yes,
but then this is one we had here on file.
right. This is the latest one, right, Dennis, one you put
Yeah,
together?
I kind of tried to marry the two together,
Yeah. So,
so.
The only thing I would like to add to that, did you want to do the one you did?
I don't have a problem. I get think to add, you left out snow plowing. It's an office equipment like computer. And I don't know if they need a license, driver license. You assume,
This one it had about the driver's license.
I thought, if that's a fire department, once a year you check up and make sure they still got a driver license. They can get, so I don't know if that's something we need to do. Make sure they got a driver license. High school.
I do
you want
that.
High school department. I don't know if you want to add those things or
Yeah,
not.
that was on the old one.
I was going by the couple of ads I saw in the paper.
Did you look at the old one?
Yeah, I look at the old one too. So
I do that every year on our men, on the driver's license. I got a record of all of them over there.
just check it every year and make sure they.
Every year I do it for them.
Once a year.
Is that something you can do online? You can check and make sure they got a driver license.
No, nothing, no drunk driving or anything.
I guess the fire department does the same thing.
Once a year.
So
Okay, so where it says perform road maintenance such as repairing potholes, crack sealing, inspection, and snow removal. I just put snow removal on the back end of that.
snow plowing, snow remover.
All right, anything else?
Office equipment. I think hell, you use a computer a lot, don't you? I guess they could use office equipment, computer.
Well, that would almost,
Yeah, but
Intuitive.
yeah.
The only thing I had was put, hires with approval of trustees and manages the maintenance crew. Because it doesn't really say that they're like a boss of other people, which is kind of some people don't like having to do that.
and the retirement, so we will hire a retirement system. I don't know if you want to put that in or not. Or you can tell them when they get the application, interview people.
Just that they would hire and manage the maintenance crew.
Yeah, we got
So hire with approval of trustees and manage the maintenance crew, because
it's a small staff.
when you hire somebody, you always got approval from the township. Oh, you don't?
I just hired them. if I need them.
Yeah, but this is
I knew
this,
they was good or bad, I could tell you.
but this is reporting to us, so we don't need to approve it.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
That's the
so,
only thing I would have added to it.
well, see, in the in the news release I had, candidate would supervise and work with the staff. So that's not down in the job description.
Where was that at?
That was up in the ad.
Oh, in the
So
ad.
we can add that.
I just wrote it at the bottom like that.
I'll put it under essential duties.
well, the general nature of work, you got the first sentence. You said in supervision.
Supervisory work.
Yeah. So that means
That's
you're
not under
supervising.
essential duties.
Yeah, but you're supervising somebody.
Yeah.
That's a small staff. Hey, you got 4 or 5? Is that basically what you have? Workers?
Yeah,
It fluctuates from
Yeah.
4
something
to 6, depending on what's going on, what
Yeah.
time of year.
like- yeah.
exactly.
Harry, while they're looking at this, would you mind trying to look for whatever you have on road mileage as soon as possible? Just because it
I'll
just
get
dawned on me
tomorrow.
that
I'll get
this
it
is a
tomorrow.
certification signed by the trustees, so I'm not gonna send it to the engineer until I see what you have to say.
Yeah, I'll get it over to Brian tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we send this in there signed, and it's gold for the next year, basically. So if it needs to be corrected,
Okay.
we should
Yeah.
correct it ASAP.
You may have. I found you in your office.
I'm telling you
You don't have
what
that.
I'm telling you what the file would say. It'd say something consistent to this, because I have the one
Right.
on my screen from last year.
Does that have to get done right away, or if it had to wait another month, can it?
Yeah, I mean, if it needs to be corrected, I would rather.
I mean, it could wait till April to correct it.
I think so. I mean, they don't give me a deadline on here.
We could vote to, if you had to
it's-
change it up to so many miles.
Yeah, I mean, the critical date for our purposes in my mind is, when those appropriations budgets get revenue budgets and appropriation budgets, it's based upon this. That doesn't happen for a few months.
May I ask a quick question? Was there a general consensus about the deadline date? I was just taking a few notes. I mean, I'm not sure how that ended when you were discussing, like May 15th, May 1st, is like what?
May 1st.
You went with May 1st? Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
No, it's just to make sure this gets on the website right away, everything. So Mike does that, right?
Okay, do you want me to put it up there exactly the way it's written right here, or?
I
Give
think
you a revised copy.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
You're gonna have to retype it, or you can,
Sure, I'll be fine. I can do that.
or I can go back home and pull it up and redo it.
No, that's fine. Just once you get it, it won't take me long to type.
Okay.
No problem.
You mean you
All
don't
right.
want to post in the paper a scanned version of the kid print
Handwriting.
adjustment?
Arrows.
Yeah. So under the essential duties, I added, besides the and snow removal, I put a new line in, supervise and work with staff as well as hiring personnel. So, and then under the ad, we'll add an email address and a fax number, and applications will be due by May the 1st. We good?
Sounds good.
All
Seemed
right.
like something that would go well on the two township road signs.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna run a small blurb on that.
Figure out how to abbreviate words enough.
Yeah.
Maintenance is a whole line.
Supervisor, apply at comms CNTR.
Okay,
You could
that's
do
all
little-
I have. Wait a minute. Yeah. Everything else has been covered.
All right. Chuck.
I've been basically going over the job description and the ads with Dennis, so nothing new.
All right, new business, I don't have any. Dennis,
None.
Chuck,
None.
other concerns? Chirp, chirp, chirp. So our next regular business meeting will be April 10th, 2023 at 7 PM. Do I make a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second it.
Roll call?
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
8:20 PM.